What is up, everybody? It is Terry back with you on the Ground Up podcast. I am here with my lovely co-host, the very famous Roy Mangrum.
Or Vanawai. I like Vanawai.
That sounds so professional. There you go.
We are excited to be back with you today. Thankful for our sponsors for making this podcast happen. We couldn't do it without you. One of those big sponsors is the City Fit Expo. Roy, would you like to roll clip?
May 30th and 31st at the Nashville Fairgrounds, 401 Wingrove Street, Nashville, Tennessee. Come out and meet Jay Cutler, Brian Shaw, Olivia Reeves, just signed, gold medalist in the Olympics, Julius Maddox, Brandon Curry. Who's the other one?
You're bringing out all the people.
Vaughn Walker.
Yes.
And David Ziegler. They'll all be there over the 2 days signing autographs, meet and greet. They're going to kiss your babies and sign your foreheads. If you ask them to, it's probably an extra couple of bucks. But anyway, you come out and see all the vendors. We have kickboxing this year, sumo wrestling. Yes, I did sumo wrestling, and no, I'm not doing it. And we have CrossFit, natural bodybuilding show, powerlifting, weightlifting, strongman. Don't you dare miss it.
That one your best one yet.
That was good.
I said like 3 times though.
I don't know, but you had you had the announcer voice.
You did.
Oh, did I?
You were
Yeah.
in the moment.
You were
Until I wasn't.
I mean, I felt like you.
I was excited.
I mean, I was to do sumo.
There you go.
I'm like, sumo.
You're not the right
I'm in
size.
there.
Oddly, no, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Let's do sumo.
Yeah.
You have to wear the get up.
We'll get up. Well, you're hearing another voice on the podcast. This is our buddy Ruck,
What's up, guys?
Charles Rucker.
Or the Ruck.
We've
The
pinned
Ruck.
a new nickname, the Ruck.
The Ruck.
Not to be confused with the Rock, even though they're similar in size. Ruck, it's good to have you, man.
Man, I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Man, I miss you guys.
Yeah,
Been a while.
it has been a while, and we've had you on the NFM podcast, but that was that was 50 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Was it really?
It was a long time ago.
Wow.
It was at least a year or two.
We were sitting around a table at the time.
Facts. It was a table.
Yep.
Oh, that is a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's over a year.
Oh, for sure.
Because this
Yeah.
was the new podcast.
like
studio
it.
True.
furniture.
Yes.
It was from last year.
It's true. Well, what's been going on, man? Give us the rundown about your life and what's going on with the Ruck Nutrition.
Yeah.
We saw you at the expo last year. You came in strong at
Yeah.
the expo. You came in strong at Whitney's show.
Mm-hmm.
I know you were at the Arnold. From the outside looking in, it looks like you're blowing the doors off the supplement game.
Right.
So give us the overview.
Yeah, so I mean, Ruck Nutrition, we're still going strong. The thing about with Ruck Nutrition, we are in like a transition stage right now. So we're trying to move more towards to being more present online instead of being like the brick and mortar and trying to get in more stores. Because like me, he was talking right before we got on here. It's easy to go on Amazon and order something compared to getting out and go walking into a store.
Yeah.
As I like to call it, Ruck, it's called mailbox money.
Yeah. And so, so that's kind of like where we're at right now. As far as like products and stuff go, there's some products that I do want to come out with later on. I want to kind of go more into like gut health and digestive issues and stuff like that to kind of help people. I started Active Shift. It's a coaching company that we work with people with gut problems and hormones to kind of get them get them well, to get them back on their feet. And so, yeah, this has been this last like 6-7 months. It's been fun, but it's been like challenging.
Yeah.
With my health issues and business, as you guys know, being an entrepreneur, you're nonstop constantly.
Man.
So. Yeah, we're on the up and up right now.
Yeah, you were traveling there for a hot minute. Like, I don't even know when I'm going to be in town next. I was trying to get on the podcast for about 4 months.
Yeah, seriously. Like,
Road warrior, man.
Dude, traveling all the time. And so I'm glad to be back in Tennessee now.
Yeah.
We're kind of settled down a little bit. So I'm going to be here for a little bit. So I don't have to travel as much.
How many locations do you have currently for Ruck Nutrition?
So we have the one brick and mortar, and then we have 2 smoothie shops, one inside of Avalon and one inside of Goals.
Love it. And those are doing great?
Those are doing good. Avalon, that gym doesn't do great. So it's not a lot of traffic coming in and out of there. The store does pretty good. It's just one of those things like, it's really easy for people to go online because like we have people that, buy on Amazon that live in Murfreesboro. So you're like, clearly you don't want to go to
Why
the store.
drive across town? Yeah,
True.
So obviously you don't want to go to the store.
Why try to pull out on that busy ass road?
I don't blame them. I mean,
Yeah.
like we were talking, like if I could order something on Amazon and have it the same day or the next day, if I ain't got to get out, I want to.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
it makes sense.
So do y'all sell on Amazon?
Yeah, we actually are on Amazon.
That's a pain in the ass.
Bro, that's a whole nother animal.
Oh, we could do a whole
That is,
episode
that's
on
a whole nother animal.
doing
The fees, like,
Oh,
and then like they'll go through.
do they still send you whack ass spreadsheet
send you
that you got to fill in?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
man.
it took us like forever to even get on Amazon because they were so picky when it came to ingredients.
Yeah.
And so then we get on Amazon and then they like immediately flagged like 2 of our products. And so, yeah, Amazon, like, that's a whole nother podcast.
So they recruited us, and then I was like, yeah, sounds awesome. And, the fees, and I'm like, I get it, whatever.
Right.
And then they started sending, like, all the stuff you had to, like, the spreadsheet, which made 0 sense, like, how to fill that thing out. And I'm like, you know what, I don't know that I don't think I'm smart enough to
feel
do
like-
this.
I feel like
I'm serious.
I feel like they bring you in to quit. Like they're like, we
Bring you in to quit, yeah.
We got them.
Like, can
They're
you
gonna
just
wear
buy
you
this
down.
shit from me and sell it yourself?
Like seriously, like it's like Amazon's a beast. Like it's a whole nother animal. Now, granted, you do reach more people with it.
Yeah.
But you fight to be on there.
Yeah.
Like,
So, with your Amazon, are you sending the stuff to the warehouse or are you shipping it yourself?
we actually fulfill it ourselves.
Okay. So
Having
is
them
that
do
called
it-
FBA or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So because if they do it, that's a whole nother.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Because like fees are already stupid.
And then you
so-
gotta send X amount of product
X
to
amount,
X
yeah.
amount of different locations.
And like at some point that might actually be better for us to do. But like right now, like the fees are just so stupid. It's just kind of like,
yeah.
but like, when it comes to supplements, you only have so much of a margin. And so if their
Well,
fees keep going up.
And there's like a storage fee, isn't there?
It's a
If it
store-
doesn't
yeah.
move.
Yeah, but that's storage.
Yeah,
fee,
every
too.
month you got to
That's
pay
crazy.
a storage fee.
Nah, they nickel and dime everything.
And it's like,
Absolutely.
oh, it's 36 cents or whatever.
That's where
It's-
they get you.
Yeah. But
where
everything's
they get you.
36 cents.
Yeah.
There's like, you're hit with 10 36-cent fees.
Yeah.
And it's monthly.
And that
Like,
adds up so quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So yeah, Amazon, we're on there. Love it, hate it, whatever. But yeah, no, we're on.
It does
there.
make it convenient though, because if somebody's like, "Man, I don't feel like getting out or whatever,"
Yeah.
just boom.
Right.
Well, even like yesterday, I was at Revive getting some treatments, and the nurse was talking about creatine, and she knew I had a line. She was like, well, where'd I go to get your product? And I'm like, you can just go on Amazon. She pulled up Amazon right there and just.
That's cool.
So like that part of it makes it really convenient.
Sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can say go to rucknutrition.com, but everybody has Amazon. So I'm like,
Yeah.
just pull up on Amazon.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's really convenient. So
Yeah.
that part of it is good.
So outside of the brick and mortar locations, and the one that you have down there in Murfreesboro is a cool spot.
Yeah.
Before I get into Amazon and the online sales, like what is it? Your nutrition shop isn't just Ruck, right? You sell other providers.
Yeah,
too?
we do sell a provider. So we have other supplement brands in there. So
Yeah.
it was one of those things like for us just to do a store with just Ruck, we don't have, we have a full product line, but I feel like you got to have like a crazy product line to really do something like that. Plus, I take other brands, I try other products.
I
And
think it's smart too, like leveraging their marketing dollars
yeah,
Exactly.
to get in your store,
Right.
and then you're like, "Oh, you like that? You'd love this one."
Right.
exactly. And
You
so
know,
it's one of those
convert 'em.
things like, yeah, we carry other products. And now the good thing about it is you can kind of pick and choose. Like, so, I won't bring in brands that I don't believe in
Sure,
myself
right.
or I don't take myself. So,
Yeah.
so it does help with that. But yeah.
That's good. So let's talk about your marketing. So, in the world of supplementation, and now that you have Amazon,
Right.
like, what's your marketing look like? Are you pushing through anywhere you can? Like, are you doing digital marketing? What's
Paid marketing
Yeah.
is especially for Amazon. That's really the way to go. They, from that standpoint, they really do push you.
Yeah.
And they push you, higher up. Obviously, when you on Amazon and you're getting reviews and you're getting, comments and stuff about the products, it pushes you up. And so that's one thing that we really push for a long time, is trying to get like more reviews, getting more people to comment and stuff like that. But paid marketing, really on anything at this point, paid marketing is the way to go.
Yeah.
Even on social media, I know you guys probably know also. It's just, if you sit and think about when it comes to social media and stuff, like they control everything, just like Amazon controls everything. Everything's a business. So as long as you're paying them, marketing or whatever it is, they're gonna keep pushing your products. And so it's kind of like one of those things, like you can go against the grain and like, you can just try to post on social media, or you can just, let it sit on Amazon and, word of mouth or whatever. But for them to really help push you, they're going to expect you to pay.
Yeah.
So
100%.
So you're using Amazon's
leverage
to pay, like, so that kind of sponsor your product to move it up in the chain and then search.
So they take feeds and then
and then they keep doing this.
And if you would like us to help you sell more of that for less,
yeah, right.
pay me a fee as well.
Yeah, my business partner is Amazon, as you guys. Yeah.
Oh man, you bring since you brought up business partner, I know you were working with somebody last year.
Yeah.
How has and I want to talk about this because we do a lot of kind of getting into the weeds and talking about the lows of entrepreneurship.
Right.
For us, it's obvious. For the listener, maybe not. Maybe they're thinking they want to be an entrepreneur, and not everybody is one.
Right.
Because that roller coaster ride is bumpy.
Yeah.
Reflect on the last year and let's talk through some of the things that you feel like you got into with your business partner and you were like, this is going to be huge. Let's talk through some of those lows and what you learned from them.
Well, I think, last year, I think we tried to go big on everything, like expos and stuff like that. And honestly, if I could go back and do it over, what I would probably do is push that into marketing, like paid marketing, like I said.
That's exactly what I said.
Like, it's honest to God the truth. Because, I mean, you sit and think about, like, yeah, we had, like, a big booth at the Arnold with all that exposure and everything. But when people go to the Arnold, one, they're expecting free stuff.
Right. Always.
Two, they are so consumed with so many products and brands and stuff that are pushing stuff at them. Like, unless you're just, like, really, really, like, somehow just stand completely out to really register in their head, like, they're, they might not remember you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And then when it comes to samples, we can give them samples, but they have 1,000 samples in their bag. So now looking back at it, like, instead of going that route, if we would have did more just push paid marketing through online and stuff like that, it's just a bigger reach.
Because I'm going to assume that booth cost you
$70K.
Well, that's more than I thought. I was going to say 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
So, and that's what we was talking about earlier before you got here. I was like, although, this is terrible marketing for me, but when I look at certain brands, right? Certain brands should spend a lot of money at events, and some brands should be different. So, like us personally, I don't do title sponsorships at events.
Right.
But I have like a formula, right?
Yeah.
So if you like, hey, come do my event, my booth's 1,000, here's how many people are going to be there. I literally put it in my spreadsheet and it tells me what I'm going to make.
Got you.
So then I can be like, I can pay 1,000.
Right.
But like if it was 70,000, because we do the Arnold, I'd be like, oh, cool, I'm going to lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
Which if you take, like you just said, if you took, all right, I'm going to do a $20,000 booth, put $50,000 into marketing and geolocate Columbus.
9 day.
You're selling all damn day long.
Yeah.
Because every time somebody opens their phone, Ruck Nutrition's popping up in their feed.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the biggest things is like, last year was a big like growing space for me when it came to that. Just from, us putting money in certain areas of the company and thinking that we're doing the right thing and, dumping a lot of money into it. And
well, you don't know until
you don't know until you try.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that sucks because it's a lot of money to try with. But it's just one of those things like you don't know till you try.
That's right.
And then, and after you get done with the year and you look back and you're like, yeah, we probably should have did that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we probably should have did that. So it's one of those things like, and that's entrepreneurship in general. It's
That is,
learning. Like everything is a gamble.
And you got to remember that not everybody has that in their mind of pump the brakes now, reflect
Yeah.
on 12 months.
Exactly.
They'll just keep repeating the process.
100%.
And then 3 years go by, and then they're out of money,
Yeah.
and then they're out of business.
No, I completely agree. And
So-
so that's definitely the space that we're at right now.
Right.
It's kind of like pumping the brakes, kind of seeing what's the next moves, how we should navigate
Yeah.
with it and everything.
And this is the purpose of this podcast, though. This is like that learning part. Right now, you're sharing that. You're saving somebody that pain with that story. Is even though it's stinging your wallet.
Yeah, I would say
Oh, that sting lasts a long time.
It'll last a minute.
that's a long sting.
Yeah, it is.
But and
Yeah.
you and I were texting back and forth, and we were talking a little bit. And
Yeah.
I was trying to encourage you in the sense of you got to remember that some of those are still seeds planted
Right.
that you won't see fruit from for a minute. That is the term investment, right? Like
Yeah.
you're burying money.
Yeah.
And at some point, the money tree should grow.
Yeah.
Right. You need to be more calculated moving forward, and you now know what that would look like.
Sure.
But that's not all of that fell on deaf ears.
Nah. 100%.
No, because that booth at the Arnold, dude, that was badass.
I ain't gonna lie. It was a
That was
dope.
bad. I saw pictures like, God
Yeah.
dang.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, it was a dope booth. It was like, and that was, looking back at it, like, I sit and say all that, but like that moment and experience was one of the best moments ever.
Yeah.
I competed, and then we had that booth, and
Because you did a meet and greet too, didn't you?
yeah, I did a meet and greet. Like, it was a whole thing. And so, like, the thing about it was, I started my career, my very first time as an athlete that I got invited to the Arnold was the Arnold. And I was doing a booth with Ronnie Coleman. And
Okay.
so, like, looking back and kind of like looking at, going to the Arnold as an athlete for other supplement brands for so many years. And then getting to the Arnold and like
And your own.
and then on that kind of level, that was a full circle moment. Like,
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and
That's
so,
worth 70 grand.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Honestly.
Depends on who you ask, but yeah.
I mean, I
To me, yeah.
So you wouldn't have to ask anybody else. Yeah, this is personal.
Yeah, to me it was.
Yeah,
you know what
100%
I'm saying?
personal.
For that moment, for me, it was something that, like, I couldn't imagine of what that was going to look like until it happened, and it was a surreal moment.
that's awesome.
I mean, and that's entrepreneurship in a nutshell, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about. Is that sometimes the highs come with the very low.
Yeah.
Bro.
Yeah.
It's like you after the show, you're like, yeah, that was a lot of money.
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll cloud that excitement. So I mean, that's a lesson learned,
For sure.
right? Like maybe you're looking at this year a little bit differently.
Yeah.
What does that entail? And I do want to reflect on the good stuff, and we will. But
Right.
the last year, if you're counting the quote unquote losses, how does that project onto this year? So outside of from being trigger shy, because I mean that can wear out your risk meter.
For sure.
But in
100%.
world entrepreneurship, there's still risks to be taken.
You gotta take risks. No
So
reward.
I'm interested to hear about what you guys are looking at this year.
So, like, really, right now, it's kind of like one of those things. Like, we're bumping the brakes to kind of see where's the move with really the store.
Yeah.
The brick and mortar, the smoothie shops, because online's gonna be there. And we're gonna always be able to sell online. But it's the stores. Like, is that a thing that's not really happening anymore? And so, like, I talked to so many brands last year. That was one thing, definitely the last probably 6 months. I reached out to, like, a lot of my friends and stuff that had supplement companies. And so last year was, like, the worst season for supplements. Like, my friends said since they've been in the industry.
Oh, for everybody. Okay.
And so it was just like, it's one of those things like, why? Why was supplement sales down across the board? Like, and every company I talked to said the same thing, and they were talking about the same thing. And so, it's one of those things where you kind of look at and you're kind of like, what does this look like? Like, and it's where you got to do a little bit more digging, and that's where I'm kind of at right now, is trying to, like, pump my brakes and kind of see, digging in, like, like people are still buying products.
Sure.
But what are they buying? You know, are they buying more vitamins, more products, health and wellness like that? Or is it, you know, is the sports supplement side kind of like going down? Because the thing with entrepreneurship too, you also got to remember that you got to be able to navigate with the times.
Absolutely. It evolves.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like it evolves constantly. So that's a place really right now, kind of like seeing what this year is looking like.
Sure.
Still early, you know, the Arnold hasn't happened. So it's kind of one of those things like, you know, you're just trying to kind of like navigate and trying to make sure you don't make the same mistakes you did last year.
Yeah.
That's a fair assessment, and everybody should do that. Like,
Yeah.
In the world of supplements, though, as you're paying attention, I mean, it's always great to gather intel from other brands.
Yeah.
We do that too. What is it that you hear? I mean, you're hearing the lows, like everyone's suffering the same pain. What do you feel is the trend shift? Like, if it's not a supplement store, then what? And then if they're not buying supplements, what are they buying? Do you have those answers?
So from what I have gathered, it's not, supplement stores is really sounding like it's becoming a dying off thing.
Told me that about the magazine too, but here we are.
Facts. Look at you. Look at you.
You're a marketing company with a magazine.
That's fair. That's fair. Go on.
So it's like one of those, like, so supplement stores, they are, you know, they're kind of, and I mean, it makes sense. Like we were talking about Amazon,
Sure.
You know, online, like people have became so, I don't want to use the word lazy, but you use lazy, whatever, like to where it's so easier for them to go buy something online and never leave the house. Like you could order groceries and never go to the grocery store.
Right.
You know, and so that convenience is making it a lot easier for people not to go into a supplement store. Especially when you sit and think about, like, with people that, you know, maybe just started working out, or people that, you know, are not in shape, like they don't want to go to a store and you know, and don't know the information. So it's really easy for them to go online, read a couple of reviews and order it. And so it's just a lot that goes into that. Now, granted, with like, what are people buying? And I kind of seen this shift happening after 2020. And I do feel like people are going more like holistic, more herbs, more, you know, wellness, more stuff like that. They're more cautious about, you know, dyes and different things in products, that they're a lot more aware about, like artificial sweeteners and stuff like that.
Right.
To the point where I think people are becoming a lot more health conscious, to where when it comes to the supplement side, you know, you kind of got to push in that direction, you know, because I feel like that's where we're going.
Right. Well, I just got two ideas. One for the store, this is what I used to tell clients all the time, like being a personal trainer for a very long time.
Right.
Fitness is not as personalized
Right.
as nutrition is. Nutrition is highly personalized because everybody has got something different going on. Like they may have a sensitivity to wheat, or they may have a sensitivity to this sugar, or their body can't, you know,
Right.
they're super anxious, so gluten puts them up here. Like whatever it is. It makes that nutrition not so cut and dry, right? So they can't just go out and buy whatever they're fanboying on this bodybuilder who does this certain thing.
Right.
So could you use your shop as a means of which to have workshops where you're teaching people how to personalize this stuff on their own?
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of like what I've actually thought about is even, you know, using the brick and mortar, kind of like I said, with the coaching, with the gut health, the hormone health, and kind of making it something kind of like for that too. And so that is kind of in my mind the direction that I would like to do.
Yeah.
You know, have the supplements, but also have like a place where people can come in and actually talk to somebody about, you know, their issues that they're having. Like,
Right.
you know, because like one thing about what we do is we can do tests that are like GI mapping, like Dutch tests that we can go a little bit further advanced
I was
than,
going to ask that.
than your regular doctor would do. You know, that's kind of one of the things that I've been kind of like battling with is, you know, for me, I think it's insane that, you know, a 45 or 50-year-old man can walk and, you know, get a physical done, and the doctor never even checks his testosterone.
Right.
Or never
Yeah.
even asks him, like, if he wants a check. And like most guys don't even know to ask that question.
Right.
And so, you know, you got guys that's run around 50, 60 years old that have never had their testosterone checked, and 9 times out of 10, their testosterone is low, which affects everything about their body.
I'm tired.
They're tired. And
Right.
and the thing about it is all they're thinking is, oh, this is part of old age. Like, this is just, they kind of accept it because they don't know any better.
Accept it, or they don't even know it's happening so slowly you don't even know it's
that
happening.
you don't even know it's happening. And that's another thing too, because I see that a lot. And that's one thing with the stores. I noticed that a lot with the stores. I would get guys that would come in that were older, you know, because technically they say your testosterone starts dropping at 30. I have I have some clients myself that have kids that are like in their late 20s, their testosterone is dropping.
Yeah.
And so I personally think that's because of the food and the things that are in the food.
Sure.
You know, and so it's one of those things like, you know, when you're 50, if you never had your test checked, like these small little decrease that you've had over years, you like gradually got used to it to where you don't know
100%.
like what feeling good even feels like. And so I think that's a big issue that that really aggravates me with the medical field. And, you know, medical field, you know, it's a business. That's what they do. So
And there's I hope it aggravates you enough to create a middle ground, because it sounds like you're leaning to where I was going to recommend you going anyway. And aside from the administrative marketing and events and how to get your brand out there, changing what you do at the brick and mortar becomes a lot more personalized. So if you can do the testing,
right,
or even refer out for blood testing and being able to review a blood panel.
Yeah.
And you guys are making decisions. Are you helping people understand how these supplements will help them with what they're going through and where they're at? You do it in a corporate setting. You can do it in a one-on-one setting. You can even go as far as having a dietitian or nutritionist based out of your location.
Right.
And you're changing. That excites me because you're changing the game.
Yeah.
Because what we do know that is obvious that we don't really talk about that often is that if you're bodybuilding and you're following some of these old protocols, it can wreck your health.
Dude.
Like, it can wreck your health.
Dude, I tell people, you know, and I love competing. Like, I love the sport, but it is physically and mentally so exhausting on you.
Yeah.
Like, from a physical standpoint, like you said, there's so many things that we have to do that that causes problems. And then from the mental standpoint, that's a whole nother ball game.
Sure.
You know, you deal with, you know, being, the whole point of bodybuilding is you're being judged. You know, you're being judged every time you go on stage.
Right.
By 7 people that, you know, they're looking for the perfect physique.
Right.
And so, and the thing is, even if you win, they're not telling you, oh, you look great. They're telling you what to work on. And so,
true.
like you're constantly being told what to work on or what to fix or where your weaknesses are. And so you do that time and time after years and years. Your mental, the way you look at yourself is completely. I tell people, like, when you see a bodybuilder in the gym and they're flexing in the mirror or whatever, I know you're sitting there thinking like, oh, they're such a show off for this and that. Dude, they are picking themselves completely apart. And so, like, you don't really even understand what's going through their mind at that point. And so that part of it that's a whole nother conversation in itself. But yeah.
So 2 years ago at the expo, TNA Wrestling was at our, I think it was 2 years ago. So Jordan Grace, she just signed with WWE. And, you know, she was probably, this would have been 5 years ago. She was a bigger girl, power lifter, and she got out of powerlifting, did a bodybuilding show. So she went from, people would say overweight,
Right.
to, I mean, shredded. You know, now she's not in competition. You know, she was just on Royal Rumble last weekend or whatever.
Got you.
And looks phenomenal. Abs, jacked. And she's like, I suffer from body dysmorphia. Not from where I was, but from when I was on stage. She's like, every time I look at that, I know I'll never look like that again.
That's crazy.
Like,
Ain't that nuts?
No, like, it's real. That's one thing I've struggled with for, like, since I started competing. Like there'll be times like we'll go to the pool and like I know I don't look bad, but because I don't look like what I look like on stage, I won't take my shirt off.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Like to that point, like, you know, and like the thing is, like she said, like, you know, especially when you've competed for so long and you so used to seeing yourself that low in body fat, you know, especially if you're doing multiple shows, because like at that point, you know, most of the time of the year you're peeled.
Yeah.
And so when you're pulling out of that and you're pulling out of bodybuilding, like there's a real moment where you gotta be like, yo, you're not gonna look like that again.
Yeah.
You know, unless you like really want to like go it, because that's not sustainable. You can't live like that.
Right.
And so that part of it, you battle with. You know, I battle with it now. I still battle with it. Like it's one of those things. Like it's those steps. Like that's therapy sessions. Like you gotta, you gotta, like it's a real problem.
I can see that.
Yeah, for sure. I want to get more into that in a hot second. We're gonna take a quick break for our sponsors to pay some bills. So we'll be right back.
Here in Nashville for the 7th Country Music Marathon and Half Marathon. I think it says a lot about the city of Nashville, what it has to offer.
And we're back. So we were talking before the break about nutrition and some of the things that bodybuilders go through. Is there a way, and I don't know enough about the trends of the industry, I'm kind of picking up on the fact that natural bodybuilding is trying to grow.
Definitely, they're pushing it.
Is there a way for you to pivot in that way, and like, you know, with the education, nutrition, and being hyper focused and taking all the stuff that you know about, you know, health problems that, you know, that come out of, you know, what people are going through with bodybuilding. It's like, is there a way to pivot your business to kind of cater to that?
I definitely think you could.
Yeah.
Natural bodybuilding is one of those things, like you're kind of seeing like what's going to happen with it.
Well, sure.
You know, and
Very early.
because it's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And it just has never really took off. And so now I do think with, you know, NPC and IFBB behind it now, I think that it has a very good chance of being more on the scene. You know, I've ran into a lot of athletes that, you know, want to go the natural route. And so I do think it could take time to kind of pick up. Do I think it's going to replace, like, obviously what we have? No. But I do think it's a growing market that you could target.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think there's something there. I think you should just keep thinking through it. I think the education is where you start. If you can turn your brand into something that's helping people solve problems,
That's exactly where,
I think is where you're like, where you can stand to be, one, a huge impact.
Right.
Two, you're going to create brand loyalty because because you're the educator. Right. That comes from trust, right? And then it kind of stomps out what would be your competition, and then you can, you know, as you're figuring out what's going to go on with the natural stuff, you can maybe even pivot a product here or a product there that is cleaner per se. I don't know what's in your product, so I'm not going to make any assumptions here that it's not. But you know what I'm saying? Like there's elements there that you could start working on now.
Right. No, and that's kind of like where we're at. That's what I'm kind of like doing. Yeah. You know, I do want to get, you know, more into, you know, kind of like finding, you know, the niche market of people to help, and, you know, kind of like toning in instead of like, you know, just having a big brand that, you know, supports a supplement like creatine, protein for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like kind of like cornered the market. And I think that's kind of like where the supplement side is kind of going to. You know, you have the big brands, but if you sit and think about it, like back in the day, you had Gaspari, you had BSN, you know, they were
Hot stuff. You remember hot stuff?
Like they were big brands that were so catered to bodybuilding that was the market, was just that. And so like now, you know, you got brands like that, but honestly, you don't have brands that have really made an impact like those did back in the day. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of like getting to the point now where, like I said, people, you know, they got more knowledge, they have more access to information. You know, people are starting to have more health problems. They're starting to care more about their body. Yeah. Like there's certain things like now you can kind of market and kind of get to where you can help, you know, the people that you're really wanting to help. And that's kind of like, that's exactly where I want to go into.
So you had said like you had some health issues that led you to start thinking this way. How did that start? Like what?
Yeah. So
I know you said after the Arnold, but it's just like one day you're like, this don't feel so right.
Nah, I'll be honest with you. It started before the Arnold. So I did a show before the Arnold. I was in prep for a long time. It was probably like 25 weeks. And one of the things that I started noticing was my joints. Like my joints started hurting really bad. And it's one of those things like, you know, you compete, and so you prep's hard.
Yeah.
And so, you know, us as guys, you're like, we're just going to push through, whatever. But then it got to the point where literally when I woke up in the morning, I literally couldn't walk to the bathroom right away. Like it got to the point where I literally had to sit in the bed for like 15 minutes, like wiggle my feet and stuff before I even stepped out of the bed.
Bro.
And so it scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, my wife, I could tell it was starting to scare her. And so I went and had cortisone shots to kind of like numb the pain, you know, kind of just get through.
Yeah.
And they helped me get through prep. And so after the Arnold, that's when I found out that I had Lyme disease. And then I had Crohn's disease, which I kind of knew about the Crohn's issues before because I've been having gut issues. That's the problem that I've been having. But the Lyme disease, that was, I was talking to my wife yesterday. Like, I remember when they was telling me that I had Lyme disease and the gut issues, and I'm like, I really just kind of like blew it off. I'm like, all right, cool. So when can I get back in prep?
Yeah.
And so I didn't really realize how serious it was. But then, you know, now knowing it and now seeing the symptoms, like it's serious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so my biggest symptoms that I have is the joints. I have really bad joint pain.
Still to this day?
It's better now.
Yeah.
The thing that I struggle with the most right now is brain fog. Like
that's from the limes.
And like when I say brain fog, this is on a whole nother
different level.
It's a different level of brain fog. Like to be honest with you, 2 days ago, I had probably about a week ago, I started having really bad brain fog. Like bad. But then 2 days ago, I had like a big important call, a Zoom call. And literally I could sit and have the conversation with this guy and I could hear what he was saying, but I couldn't process what he was saying.
Oh man.
And so
that's scary.
Dude, when I got off the Zoom call, I lost it. I'm like, what is going on? And so then like, I'm like going, like when you're on a computer and you have like two tabs and like, you're like going from one tab to the next just to try to like, you know, fix, you know, something or something like that. It was to the point where I would go to one tab and go to the next one and couldn't remember why I went to the next one.
Ruck, I do that all the time.
You need to check that. The fact that you're okay with that, that's a problem.
I'm not. No, I'm not okay.
I would say that's a problem.
Yeah, my favorite thing Roy says is, I think I have ADHD. I set a doctor's appointment and
I forgot to go.
2 weeks later, I was like, how'd your doctor's appointment go? He's like, I forgot to go. My ADHD
That's true.
kicked in. I was like, oh my God.
That is true.
Oh, boy.
Not to make light of it, but that was hilarious.
So what did you do? You went and got checked out again? Or?
Yeah, so no, I actually, because that's the thing, like I've been going to doctors about this for a minute now, and it really ain't working. So I started going a different route. So yesterday I actually had ozone therapy.
Okay.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
So I had ozone therapy, and so that helped out a lot. Like I feel a lot better today. And then I did the hyperbaric chamber yesterday. And so I'm trying to go more of that route.
Yeah.
Getting oxygen more into the blood.
What if that's working?
It so it's working right now. It's something that I'm going to dig into, and I've been talking to more medical people because this is something that I also want to be able to help people out with too. You know, along with the gut issues and everything else and the hormones, like me going through this and realizing how bad the Lyme disease is, like I can't imagine people like living with this and not doing anything about it.
Yeah, and I know. So I've got a buddy who's been going through it for a while, and his was similar. It started with a parasite that he got in Bolivia, and then it graduated into Lyme disease, and now it's full on autoimmune. And it got him hard, messing with the hormones, brain fog like you would not believe, joint pain, like couldn't even walk. For a long time, he was one of the fittest guys I knew when we were in our early 20s.
Right.
So I will say that your muscle mass is actually probably making your life a lot easier in that sense, because you have, like, there's nutrients stored in those muscles,
Right.
that your body can kind of depend on a little bit.
Yeah.
Not to get out in the health weeds. This is not that type of podcast, but it's going to affect you slightly less bad as it has some of those guys out there who just don't have any fitness wherewithal.
Yeah.
So that, a little bit of good news for you.
Appreciate that. Appreciate that a lot. I'll take it.
So how do you get diagnosed? Like, what is that
And
testing process?
And so that's crazy because you actually have to do a special test for that. Like they have to test for Lyme disease. And that's what I was telling my wife yesterday too, was the coach that I was with for the Arnold, like he had Lyme disease. And so he knew my symptoms and he's the one tested for it. And so if he wouldn't have tested for it, I would have never known.
You just thought,
Like, dude, I would have
I'm just
thought
falling
that
apart.
I was dying.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Like, because, like,
this is old age.
yeah, like, but I knew it wasn't old age.
Yeah.
Like, when I literally couldn't get out the bed, like,
That's pretty drastic. Yeah.
it was very, that scared me. Like, that was one time it scared me, and then yesterday, or 2 days ago, those two moments scared me. Because, granted, I played football my whole life. I boxed. I've been hard on my body. So, you also think about, like, what did those effects do?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you don't get CTE overnight.
That's
No,
the thing.
no,
Like,
You don't go to bed good and wake up.
dude,
Right.
it was wild. It was like, I was telling one of my boys this, it was so bad that I could picture my brain and like picture like this big fog, like cloud inside of it. Like I could see it. And it was just that bad.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah, crazy.
All that to say, you may be onto something if you're going to help folks figure this stuff out
100%.
and kind of change the way the industry's run. Like, and that is a big thing. I know it's a big statement to say that.
That is a big statement to say that.
But I think that a lot of things are going that way anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're not the single fish swimming up the stream here.
Right.
It seems like that now's the time, as someone who's looking in from the outside. But I got in the fitness industry through nutrition.
Right.
Like, nutrition changed the health of our family, and we got in and started teaching people about probiotics and about how to culture your foods and how to why soaking your grains is good, and sourdough bread, the whole 9 yards. We were doing that in 2009.
Right.
So it fell on a lot of deaf ears. That's the point I'm trying to make. Now you can buy all of the stuff that I had to help
They have a
people
whole grocery store for it.
at freaking Aldi.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different now, and there are changes in the administration that are because of some of those chemicals that are in our food. So it feels to me like there's a bit of a massive shift here. We voted for long enough with our dollars.
Yeah.
Some of us crunchy people who eat organic food.
I'm about to say, actually, like, when you sit and think about that side of it, like the organic side and all of that, though, like, if you look at people's health issues from, like, now compared to back in, our grandparents' days.
Right.
I'm
Like,
close.
it's like a night and day difference of how people are deteriorating.
Right.
And so it has to be the food.
There's no question. And there's a good brand out there doing this too. It's Jocko Milk. And
okay.
crush on this
Very delicious. See you at the Music City Fit Expo.
exactly.
I
Like
like
I and that's where I saw them.
Yeah.
And they converted me, and now I just get it. I get it free. Now they get it at Walmart.
Gotcha.
But what I love about it is it's a grass-fed milk-based product, and the sugar is a fermented cane juice. What does that mean? That means it's stable. It's got probiotics in it. Therefore, it's much more deliverable. And then there's 30 grams of protein in it.
It's delicious.
And it's good. I gave it to one of my
at the warehouse.
Yeah, I gave it to one of my buddies. He's in his mid-50s. He drives a truck.
Yeah.
Semi truck for a living. Almost 400 pounds. And I said, just use these supplements along with these dietary guidelines, and just try to get 100 grams of protein a day. He's dropped 75 pounds.
That's wild.
In almost 2 months.
That's wild.
Doing nothing else. He told me last week, and he's like, dude, I feel so good. Now I'm walking. He's like, and I used to hate to walk.
That's crazy.
Dude,
So he's just dropping weight like crazy.
nutrition's everything.
Yeah.
Like it really is. It's everything. And like we were talking, knowledge is power.
Right.
And there's so much information out there now, and there's so many studies, and there's actually so many people that is trying to like help change the narrative when it comes to food and the health of people.
Right.
You still battling with some of those big people, companies and stuff like that you're gonna battle with. But there's enough people out there that are trying to do something that's different to make it to where enough of us stand for it. We can make a difference.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how it makes you pivot. I think oftentimes it's our own personal experiences that help change what our initial vision for a business is.
100%.
There are good pivots, and there's some pivots that come from pain, and this is a little bit of both.
Right.
But for a hot second, I want you. I gotta wake him up.
He's already sleepy.
And this is unsolicited advice, obviously, but what would you do as far as like between marketing and events and awareness, outreach for Ruck Nutrition if you were to build Ruck a pseudo plan in the sky for his business? Like,
It all depends on budget.
let's go, Roy.
It depends on budget, right?
Yeah.
Of course, because that's first. But if I had, let's say I had $70,000, I'd take that for example. So I always think community involvement is key,
Right.
just for being a part of the community. But I would do it on a very small scale.
Yeah.
For instance, if you're going to an event, if you're going to Music City Fit Expo, get the I don't want to say entry level, but the cheaper,
Right.
right? Because it's all about presence.
Right.
It's just presence. And then you look at all the other dollars, because that was $750. So then look at all the other dollars and go, okay, well, if I have $60,000 left, that's $5,000 a month I can spend on marketing. That's where your biggest bang is for your buck.
Right.
Those people, there's nothing better than when I wake up, 6 a.m. and there's already like 10 sales.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mailbox money.
Yeah.
I didn't have to do anything.
Right.
I didn't have to talk to anybody. It's, the night shift guy that gets off and looks at his Facebook
Right.
and, man, I need that. I want,
Facts.
and they purchase that stuff. That in turn, so that, what'd I say, 5,000? That $5,000 that you're spending creates sales on the short term.
Right.
If you can create a 2x return, so you spend 5, you make 10. Okay, I don't know what your margins are, but let's say that fits inside your margins.
Right.
All those people that are purchasing now going into your email funnel, so you get to market to them for free.
For free.
So that $5,000, don't even think of it so much as that's the scaling of the business, but that's feeding the funnel of the email.
Right.
Because the email, like we send an email every single day, Monday through Friday. We don't do it on the weekends, but Monday through Friday. And that's the bread and butter. Because if something happens and I can't spend the $5,000, or Facebook changes the algorithm like they did 3 days ago, and your marketing
They'll do
shits the
that.
bed.
Yeah.
I still had those,
You
you
still
know,
have the email,
30,000 people I can send an email
Right,
to.
The
right.
connections, yeah.
So that's what I would do.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, that's a good plan.
and it's at whatever point in time, you know, if you have to take a break from marketing online, it's not like if you take a break from marketing online, there is no sales.
Right.
Or it's event only sales where you're,
Yeah.
you know, having to
Do a booth or whatever.
get up and set up a booth and stand there all day on the concrete floor and
Yeah.
hope to God I, you know, make a profit.
Right.
But you have that email list to fall back on. And that's what we do. I
Yeah.
mean, we've had ups and downs with online marketing more times than not.
Yeah.
But we always have the email list to fall back on. I'm like, if sales are slow today, send out a text message, send
Right.
out an email.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to make my money.
And to break that down even further, so people will market with us. They'll come and say, you know, I want to get involved with Nashville Fit, and you're like, we're great. Here's what we can do, and we have plenty of services. Like we really can cover the gambit. But if the top of your funnel is broken and you're sending me a link that feeds your funnel and your funnel's broken, then we're at a point. Like
Yeah.
you're wasting your money, and I'm going to be the scapegoat.
Yep.
So I make sure when I talk to folks that there's a trickle down effect for that reason. Because if I didn't really see anything from it. It's like, are you tracking it?
Right.
Well, no. How do I track that? I said, well, 6 months ago, you should ask me this question. It could be a QR code with with your NFM10 on it to save
Right.
10% off. Whatever. It's a unique link that you're
links.
using that we put in a QR code in print or wherever that feeds an email form. Email forms aren't dead.
Nah, they're not.
They're really
actually-
not.
They're still like a big part of marketing. And I mean, they've been around for forever.
And
so,
you may not get as good of return on your emails as Roy does, but it is a different market. Actually, they're probably more comparable than what we're doing.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, there's still, the good thing with supplementation, though,
Yeah.
retail's retail. If you buy a shirt from me, you're only going to buy one.
True.
But if I buy creatine from you, chances are I'm going to use it monthly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is a reoccurring, setup. I'm sure you probably have
Yeah.
like
Subscriptions and
subscription
stuff. Yeah,
services
we
and
do.
stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Where you can guarantee, hey, on the first,
Right.
You'll get,
here's
So-
80 units
Absolutely.
sold or whatever.
If you have the top of funnel where you've got that form and you can feed it from different various places. It could be from Amazon, it could be from your social media link, wherever. It could be what you give National Fit Magazine when you start marketing with us. That's we're letting them in.
I like how you did that.
Yeah, see that. However you're feeding it, it builds your list, your email list or your text message list. I would recommend trying to get both.
Okay.
And then once you move on, then we're talking about the content that we're emailing out.
Yeah.
Well, that is similar to what you're putting in the brick and mortar if you're going to do education-based stuff.
Right.
So then you can trickle emails out that are educational. Here's why this product works and why.
Right.
Here's how it affects your health. And you can get into the weeds on that. And what you're doing is you're giving away a lot of value in that.
Right.
But you're also educating your clientele. So now they're becoming the authority in the space as well.
Yeah.
And you're the guide, they're the hero on their journey, and you're making sure they get the girl in the end.
Do you Shopify or?
We use Shopify.
Yeah. So your analytics will tell you
Right.
Yeah.
where,
Where we get most of our,
we have to use a plug-in because
Okay.
we're on BigCommerce, but it's like Ad Beacon,
Yeah.
and I can see it's super dope, and it's also very scary the stuff that's out there. But like I can see, Ruck was served in an ad on Facebook at 9:21. He
Oh,
looked at it for
wow.
32 seconds.
That's
He did not click.
wow.
That's some data.
He
That is.
searched us. Yeah. Oh, and then it showed, okay, second ad was served, different ad, same ad, whatever. You clicked and completed the purchase. Like I can tell your entire journey.
That's crazy. And what's that?
Ad Beacon.
Ad Beacon.
Yeah. ADBEACON.
Yeah, text that to me.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
that's data and analytics telling you about the health of your funnel.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. And then
100%.
you look, that's what we do.
Right.
We look at it. What's the highest converting piece?
Right.
Let's do more of that.
Right.
Right.
And less of the stuff that doesn't.
Right.
Yeah. 100%.
It makes it can lower your risk rate.
Yeah.
You can get artistic, but it's a risk. But while you're depending on the bread and butter of the popular,
Yeah.
stuff. So, and I like to point out that every time I get on Facebook, it's easily 2 Barbell Voodoo ads.
Thank you.
There you go. Nah, I'm about
We
to say,
spend a ton of money.
I see it's at least 2 a time.
but at least you put money into what's
Yeah.
working.
And
Yeah.
I see, and I see the evolution of your marketing too. I could tell what Christian's doing for you. I
Yeah.
can see some of that stuff. You're using live models.
That's a Christian thing.
Yeah, it's cool. It's good. It
Being
feels
confident.
fresh. It feels fresh in whatever way that and not
How we have survived not using photo shoots
yeah.
for 11 years.
That's wild.
is
It's
absurd.
It's impressive.
Especially for clothing.
Yeah. No photo shoots.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I think where you guys have found your pot of gold is in making shirts funny.
That's
I
bourbon.
agree.
That's bourbon, though.
And if you don't need
Use what works.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
yeah, use that word.
Do more of what works.
If that I think that doesn't lend itself to needing a model. Is the point I'm trying to make.
No, it
When
doesn't.
you're getting into
Yeah.
actual like supportive, like the sports bra
The
one that I
sports bra
saw,
stuff, yeah.
like you need a woman wearing that and talking about how it helps them.
Yeah, but that's like you were talking about the evolution of a business, right?
Yeah.
If my ticket average is $28 and I'm doing 1,000 transactions at the Arnold, you're doing 1,000 transactions at the Arnold, but your ticket average is $98. Who wins? Doesn't matter what my profit margin is.
Right.
I mean, I make good money on shirts.
Yeah.
But I have to do way more work.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
So I need my ticket average to be bigger.
Yeah.
So that's why we've always had that stuff. We've got 42 SKUs of shorts.
I knew that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
And
we
I
don't
mean,
push
you kind
them.
of got to when
Yeah.
it comes to clothing.
Yeah, but
You
we
know.
just don't push them. So that's
Yeah.
Christian's like, why aren't we doing that? So that's a good question.
Yeah.
Right.
You're in charge. Thank
Lead.
you. Yeah,
Out you go.
Yeah. Christian.
your idea. It's your responsibility now.
Shout out to Christian. I know what Christian's doing right now. He's painting. So.
No, he's has a task over the weekend, so he's probably doing that right now. Yeah.
Nice.
He's working.
Yeah.
He's
He better
working.
be.
We
or
share.
else.
We share an employee.
I got you. Nah, you've been crushing it though, and that's one thing is like your clothing has such a like he said, they're funny. Like it can kind of target whoever.
Yeah.
Like whatever they read on the shirt, like if that moves them, that they're gonna buy it.
But it's niche at the same time
Agreed.
I agree.
because there's a lot of clothing brands, which this is not about me, but there's a lot of clothing brands that are, very militant, angry.
Yeah.
There's
no,
so
that's
many
true.
that
I had one of those clothing lines.
if you look at them all and take off the brand name, you're like, who's
Notice-
this? Who's
yeah.
this? Who?
It's true.
No, that is true.
And you look at ours, and it's like, oh, we know exactly who this is.
Right.
Yeah.
There's
No,
one
that's a good
company
point.
that kills it.
Yeah. Yeah. The rest are imitating,
Well, or they're no longer doing it.
or they're no longer doing it. There's that.
Because the clothing game, that's a hard market to really.
It is hard.
It's a hard market.
Yeah, and I'm just too stubborn to quit. That's the only reason we survived.
Just keeps
Bro,
doubling.
as
He just keeps
entrepreneur,
doubling
you
down.
gotta
Yeah.
Dude,
It's either quit or double down.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
as an entrepreneur, you got a choice.
Yeah.
Well, I want to leave you with some time to.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask any questions? Do you want to like? Is there any part of this that's resonating with you? Yes or no? Like where you at with it? Like
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I actually love this conversation because, it had me to really talk about, some of the ideas that I've been, thinking and working on. Talk about it out loud, get y'all's opinion also. Kind of like with the store and, the coaching and, targeting more of a need in a niche market when it comes to the supplement side is something that I really want to move forward on. And so, I've enjoyed this. Like,
Yeah, it's been good times.
definitely.
Yeah.
Like, it's always good time.
It's always fun when you hang out with Ruck.
yeah,
Hey,
with the Ruck.
The Ruck.
the Ruck.
I might know
For
a
the
guy who can make that
millions.
T-shirt for you.
And
know, you know
millions
that? You know
of Ruck fans.
You know a guy?
I know a guy.
You know a guy makes t-shirts.
I can make a T-shirt.
Every once in a while.
Well, take a second and we want to leave you with, give you a chance to leave with the last word. Tell everybody what, where they can find your product. Send them to your shop
Yeah.
in Murfreesboro. Give everybody the rundown. Your camera's right there. So
Boom. Guys, Charles Rucker with Ruck Nutrition. You can find me at 833 Memorial Boulevard, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. It's our brick and mortar. We're also on Amazon. You can go on social media. It's Ruck Nutrition. I am Charles Rucker is my handle. And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
We got it.
That's all of us.
Are we going to see you at the Music City Fit Expo?
Yes, I will be there.
He'll be
boy.
there one way or the other.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I'll be there.
I'll have to come pick him up, but he'll be there.
Yeah. I might be
We're
kidnapped.
carpooling, but we're
Get in your
I'm
car.
not kidding, but I'll be there. No, 100%. I'll definitely be there.
Just the mental picture of you like trying to drive off with the door open.
I ain't
Like,
gonna
let's
lie,
go.
Like, that was what I was thinking. Like me just in his car, like tied up.
Yeah, that's exactly how I see it.
I'll pick Jay up at the airport. Where are we going? We're going to get Ruck. Let's go get him.
Jay dragging me out the house.
Move
Come
the dogs
on, he's
over.
just kicking his
It's
feet.
funny, like the mental picture that just literally came when you said that. Like
It almost feels like a good time. I'm
Put
gonna,
that as a cartoon page in the book.
that's
for
exactly,
this year.
and it was a
Yeah.
cartoon in my
Yeah,
head.
that's what it'll be.
I swear, it was a freaking cartoon in my head when you said that.
Oh, that's awesome.
By the way,
we'll have to animate that.
y'all's picture is so dope.
You like that?
Dude, I love it.
The AI generated
The
one that
AI,
we
yeah.
have.
I wish I could look like that.
That is the most dope picture ever.
We both used. You used it for your beard trimmer, right?
I
You're
did.
like-
I sent her a picture of that, and
Yeah.
every time I go in there, because it always looks like hell by the time I get back to her.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Can you do this again?"
I did the same thing with my barber. I was like, I know this is going to be hilarious, but can you maybe?
Like, no, it's a cool picture.
It's so funny.
It is a cool
He said
pic.
that.
He
I
said,
was
"What
like-
do you think of this?" Is like, I wish I looked like that, but that's awesome.
Yeah, no, that was dope.
Yeah, use that.
Kind of looks like we're in the bow of a fishing vessel.
I'm going to try to use that as my
picture
when I renew
looks
my
interesting.
license.
Yeah.
Or if I can just send them the picture.
Do it. See if they'll let you do that.
Yeah, I'd like to
yeah.
use this. I'll crop Terry out.
Yeah.
Wait, what's this? No, don't worry about
Just
that.
see a hand, my hand
Yeah,
right there on the side.
yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Nah, that's like the picture alone makes you want to watch, like, listen to the podcast.
Oh,
like,
man.
It's funny.
I appreciate that.
Hey, whatever works.
Yeah, that's exactly whatever works. All right, well, we're gonna wrap this thing up, guys. We appreciate you, tuning in for another episode of the Ground Up Podcast. We thank our sponsors for making this happen because we couldn't do it without you. And when you get a chance, go check out, Ruck's all the Ruck things.
all the Ruck things.
And we'll see them at the expo.
Yes,
come get your
sir.
autograph or get his autograph. Yeah,
You can get our autograph.
Somebody's autograph.
I was doing real good at being professional. And
Yeah,
then we lost
and
it.
then you weren't.
And we will catch you on the next one. Here we go.
All right, guys.
See ya.